I have a feeling this biopic is going to be, and I think the thing with BC1 is he's so confident he's going to smoke him that he just left and he's like, see you in the next round. You know, there's a whole deeper conversation about competition versus art. I'm not going to win. It's like, all right, then don't win. Oh, I love it like that. I don't know that I would do that to a crew member. It's just keyboard warrior. It's like you're behind a keyboard typing this shit. It feels unsatisfying somehow. I wonder this about GTA 6 as well. You can't just post a Canva flyer online and then get pissed when it gets 13 likes. This whole thing is like planned previously. Now, the first thing that everyone's commenting on is like, all right, so the first thing that happened was the MJ Biopic trailer was released. So apparently this has been in the works for a while. I had heard nothing about it, although admittedly, it's not something that would maybe come on my radar. But so for people that don't know, there was a trailer that came out, well, a teaser, it was very short, of the Michael Jackson biopic. And obviously everyone went crazy. 116 million views within 24 hours, apparently. And so there's been a few, not biopics, but like kind of attempts at telling the Michael Jackson story previously. None of them were that amazing or that everyone went crazy for, but this one apparently is supposed to be a big deal. The Jafar Jackson is going to be playing Michael Jackson. There was already Twitter is always, for every one side of things, you can always find the other side. So there was like, I saw so many tweets of people being like, that looks nothing like him. And then other people like, oh my God, he looks perfect. So there's always like that. And yeah, it seems like a good cast, and it seems like people are excited for it. What else? The guy who is producing it is, I'm going to find his name, but Graham King. He's the same person that produced the Bohemian Rhapsody movie, so the story of Queen, which did really well. And actually, I've heard it attributed, the Queen story attributed to this kind of rise of like biopics that came out after that. Yeah, it supposedly, tells the story of Michael Jackson's life. Now, I have some thoughts about this. I think, the first thing that a lot of people are talking about and that people are excited for is obviously the music. A lot of people grew up on Michael Jackson, love his music. It was a whole generation. Like my mum kind of like introduced me to Michael Jackson when I was young, and kind of like she had records. I think we still have them somewhere up in the loft, but like some records of like Michael Jackson's and like some early albums and obviously CDs after that. And then when I was young, I was watching, he had this Moonwalker, I think, or what was the name of it? There was like a short film that was like with his song. It's like almost like what now would be classed as like a visual album, but we had it on VHS. And yeah, I mean, he kind of like a lot of people like really grew up on his music, and he has a very favorable, like, we look back with a lot of nostalgia on him. My opinion is I have a feeling this biopic is going to be mid, if I'm honest. I think it's interesting because I don't think it's a knock on any of the elements. Like, I don't think the acting is going to be bad. I don't think they're going to do an injustice to the character or the songs or anything like that. But I think it's like biopics in general are really difficult. I think the first thing that everyone's commenting on is like, does it look like him? Does it sound like him? Blah, blah, blah. And I think when you have someone that is like anyone that you listen to, so whether it's like, they had the Bob Dylan biopic, they had the Whitney Houston biopic, they had obviously the Queen one and all that. When you have someone who you're so familiar with, that like you spent your whole life listening to them talk and listening to their seeing their mannerisms, watching them perform, like all of this type of thing, it's the first thing you're going to notice is all the inconsistencies between that person and the actor, right? Because it's like, it's not them and it can never be them. Like if there's like, let's say, what's a good example? Like maybe when Denzel played like the movie like Hurricane, for example, where it's like that boxer was like, I mean, he was very well known, but like he's not a Michael Jackson or whatever. So you can almost, you can suspend your disbelief, but also B, a lot of people won't have heard that person speak their whole life. Or I'm trying to think of like any other true story, basically, where you have someone who, you know, is a real person. But like, let's say if you've got Denzel or Will Smith or whoever playing a real person, if even, to be honest, when Will Smith played Muhammad Ali, or when Denzel played Malcolm X, it's like, I wasn't like, yes, as I've seen interviews and I've heard Malcolm X speak, I've heard Muhammad Ali speak, but it wasn't so drilled into my head that I know exactly all the mannerisms and stuff. Whereas like, you know, if you had someone more well known, for example, a Michael Jackson, the only thing you're going to see or pay attention to for most people is going to be these inconsistencies or whatever. That's without getting onto like how they do the music. Now, when I actually really enjoyed the Whitney Houston biopic because I love her music. Again, I grew up with Whitney Houston. I love her music. Like, it was always on in the house, but I didn't, you know, especially in the generation that I was when I was young, there wasn't, of course there was TV interviews, but there wasn't YouTube, there wasn't Instagram. I wasn't seeing and hearing this person talk all the time, so I could kind of suspend my disbelief with Whitney. With the music, what I think they did was basically they had, I mean, the girl that played her was amazing, but they did like when she started to sing the songs, they cut to real recordings of her, and it was done like super seamlessly, because I came out being like, holy shit, that girl can sing. And then I looked it up and someone was like, yeah, no, that's not how they did it. It's like, it's actually Whitney singing. And I was like, oh, well, that makes way more sense, because the girl that nailed like Whitney Houston's music, like, that's quite rare. So they could do that with Michael Jackson, of like cut to the real recordings. I don't know that they're gonna like, I mean, maybe there's people on the internet that have more info on this than me of how they're planning to do it, but if they have the person, the Jafar Jackson, if they have him singing, like, no matter how good of a singer you are, we're gonna hear that you're not Michael Jackson. So maybe it's gonna be like that. They cut to the actual recordings. I know that like Michael Jackson's estate has been involved. They've kind of like, it's so funny because like they I think it's Lionsgate that are producing it, and they've like thrown them under the bus a little bit a few times, where it's like when there was first like kind of whispers about the film and stuff, and then people were going to the estate being like, oh, what's happening with the film, blah blah blah, and they just replied saying Lionsgate are in charge of all the marketing materials. And it's like, oh, okay, cool. Like, so you don't, like, they're not trying to push it as well. And if the estate were like, yeah, we're super excited, I don't know, maybe people would be more excited about it. But it seems like there's been some weird I don't know, issues with that. And I wonder if that's going to affect the quality of the movie. I don't know. But if the estate is involved, maybe they've got access to recordings and things that a normal producer wouldn't have, and maybe they can create all this crazy like seamless transitions. So that would be cool. I wonder if the thing is with the Michael Jackson thing is because he had such a like, there was so much controversy and stuff in his story. I wonder how much of it they're going to attack. And also, like, with the estate being involved, it's like, are they going to like sugarcoat some of the stuff because the estate are like, oh, we want him to like be seen favorably in a way. Like, this is like, for example, this is like my point of reference, is like when in America, and I don't know the full truth of this, so don't fact check me on this, but it's like there's some version of this which is true. But in America, with the military, they will advise and help out Hollywood movies on the understanding that the movie makes the military look good. So if it's like a movie that's gonna like, you know, like let's say, I don't know, what are these alien things where you see the military being like crazy, like oh yeah, they go in to save the United States from the fucking aliens, blah blah. Then the military will come in and like lend their advice about like how they would hold a gun or how they would look or blah blah blah. And if it's not going to make the military look favorable, they a lot of times don't. You know, it's only to make their image look better, basically. So I wonder if that's a similar thing with the estate. Where like, right, the estate are involved. but you can't be out there going like showing scenes where he doesn't look good or he doesn't end up looking good or whatever. And then there's all these, you know, there's like 3, I think, separate instances of where he got accused of like sexual abuse and stuff. And it's like, I wonder if that gets sugarcoated even slightly, or how they make him look. It's worth saying, you know, in 2 of the one of the cases he got acquitted or found guilty. One of the last one, I think it got dismissed, and then the FBI did an investigation on him, and it got there was no evidence that got found. So, and the very first case, which I'm going to come back to in a second, they settled in civil. I mean, this is a whole other podcast, and it's like long, and I don't fully understand it. But there's criminal court in the States. There's criminal court and civil court. Criminal court is like criminal offenses. Civil court is like disputes between people. This is like a really simplified version. So you can sue someone in civil court, win, and it doesn't necessarily mean that they're a criminal. It just means that and a lot of these things are done in civil court because in order to take it to criminal court, you have to have a higher level of like evidence, whereas in civil court you can have less evidence and like less proof and still win. With Michael Jackson's case, the first one was taken to civil court and it got settled out of court with the understanding that it's not a admission of guilt, which they often do. It's like, well, I'm going to pay you, but it doesn't mean I'm saying I did it. It's just I'm going to pay you to like stop this proceeding. Make up your own minds on this type of thing. But part of the why that links to this, is because I wonder how they're gonna show these things, and if they're gonna show them, because it's like, if you're gonna tell the story, I think for me, tell the story. Like, I'm there for this. Like, yeah, if you're there for like a feel good, like almost like a musical, a feel good fun time, all right, cool. But if it's gonna be a deep in depth film with all the trials and tribulations and stuff, then tell it, you know. So it depends. There's that route, but also this film got delayed a lot, and one of the speculations is because, and I think this is fact, which is a funny way of saying that, like you can look this up, but basically that first case where he got accused of sexual abuse or whatever it was, when it got settled, part of the settlement was that victim or alleged victim, or you know, whatever you want to call him in this situation, the person that accused him, part of the settlement was I can never be dramatized in any future like depictions of his life. So you can't make a music video where you have me in it, although that would be the weirdest music video of all time. But also in stuff like this, it's like that first person, like he might be alluded to or talked about. I don't know the details of the settlement, but one of the things was like, you can't have some kid play me in a movie about Michael Jackson's life. So there's speculation that caused some delays in the release of the movie. Also, it's going to affect the storyline of the movie. Like, will they ignore that part? Will they allude to it but not show it? Like, that's a whole interesting topic. But yeah, I just think it's like, you know, this is why I started by saying I think it's going to be mid. Is like, not because of anything. I mean, it seems like they've got some great people, you know, Coleman Domingo, Nia Long, like, so, you know, they've got a childhood actor for Michael Jackson who looks amazing, like Miles Teller's in it. There's, and you know, like I said, the producer's amazing, the director looks good. So it's like, there's a lot of key elements to make it good, but I'm like, I don't know how you can, like, I wonder this about GTA 6 as well, of like how you can have so much anticipation for something and I mean, the difference with GTA 6 is like, we don't know anything about what it's going to be, but there's so high expectations. I'm like, can it meet our I mean, there was about GTA 5 and it exceeded our expectations. But with this, it's like, we know so much about him, and everyone's going to have their own story, their own like understanding of him, their own things that they think people should focus on or that they want to hear more about. And I'm like, I can't imagine how this is not going to disappoint everyone in some way, because it's never going to, like, and you know, there are of course a certain section of people that are, you know, I would hope that I'm one of them, where it's like, okay, I can go watch a film and be like, of course you're never going to make the film that I want to see. No one can, you know, like any movie that comes out or any game that comes out, you're never going to make it how I would want it made personally for me. A lot of people, you know, Twitter included, as a, you know, manifestation of people. Like they talk as if like they, when they say they're disappointed or they didn't think a movie was good, it's because, or like you could even take this like a dance event or a dance show. It's like, oh, you didn't make the thing that I exactly wanted for me, so therefore it's shit. And it's like, I think that that's what's going to happen with this. Is like everyone is going to dislike it for a different reason. And I mean, I don't know even how a director or a producer like threads that needle of like, there have been certain things where, you've had sequels that people have waited so long for and had such high expectations, and they've knocked it out of the park, and it's been like, oh wow, they actually killed it. I don't even know how people do that, because like when your expectations are so high, it's like nothing they can make can ever live up to it. So expectations wise for a biopic, and also just understanding his life, like I don't know, like say for me, it's like, if what I would love from this movie is like a real insight to like behind the scenes. Like yes, of course you understand all the high moments and you see it, but I want to see like things that I didn't know are true happening behind it. Oh my God, I didn't know he had that conversation with Malcolm X, or there was some picture of him like posing with like gang members in LA or something, and then it's like I saw on Twitter, and I'm like, oh my God, I'd love to, is there a story behind that? I'd love to like find out all these things about Michael Jackson that I didn't know, as well as hearing the songs. Because like this is another thing, it's like one thing I liked about Whitney Houston's biopic in certain places is that you saw her killing the song on stage. Obviously it's not her singing, but like you what am I trying to say, like, because you had all the history and all the story and the context, when you saw her on stage, it's even better than just listening to the music video or the song. It's like you really you're seeing her kill this song, but you saw the journey to get to that performance and all the stuff that was going on behind the scenes. So when she kills it, you're like, wow, like, aside from all the bullshit, she could really deliver when she needed to. And that adds more like weight to the performances and stuff. So I would love that type of movie, like that type of deep movie with the highs and the full performances, so that we can see, even if it like cut to real performances or whatever, but like so that we can see like the context behind all these amazing moments, if there is some. He had this fight with this person and this conversation with fucking Muhammad Ali before he went on stage. Like I'd love to see that, and then watch the performance through that lens, but then if they don't do that, I'm gonna be like, oh, I didn't go deep enough. Or if they don't show the performances and they just cut to and then the next day he woke up and I'm like, oh, when are you doing the song? Like, yeah, I just feel like I don't know. I don't know how this is gonna. And then that's also with the actor. That main actor has so much pressure on him, and it's like when you have Jamie Foxx play Ray Charles, or you have Will Smith play Muhammad Ali. That is not gonna be like. It's almost like, I don't know a good analogy for that, but it's like, that they're not going to be completely that person, but because you love Jamie Foxx so much, because you love Will Smith so much as an actor or whatever, like you kind of and even Will Smith gets that criticism for playing people too much like Will Smith, but like you kind of understand what you're going to watch, if you know what I mean. Like when you're like, I mean, obviously Jafar Jackson is famous, but he's not like an actor who we've seen in multiple roles, and we understand like, all right, when Ryan Reynolds plays a character, it's kind of Ryan Reynolds playing that character. Where when Will Smith, when Denzel, it's like it's them playing that character, and we understand that, and we kind of love them for it in a way. Whereas this main actor has so much pressure to like, nail it as Michael Jackson, and we don't give him the benefit of the doubt of, oh yeah, but it's you and we love you for you. We just like, give us Michael Jackson or fuck off. Like, so I wonder if that's going to be an issue as well. But all that to say, I mean, I hope it's fun. I think a lot of people will like it. There's a lot of people that are like not hardcore Michael Jackson fans, and also not a lot of people that are not hardcore like movie fans and don't want this deep. Like they're just like, oh, if it's just a fun good time and I like the music, then great. I also wonder how much it will like I wonder if people these days, like this current like young generation, know about all the like controversy and all things and what they would think about it, because it's like, I mean, again, a whole other topic, and I don't want to go too much into it just because it's long and depressing also, but like even outside of the allegations, like he did behave somewhat weirdly with kids, so it's like I wonder if people are like, oh yeah, I knew he got accused and was found not guilty, blah blah blah. But then if it went that deep and the young generation see him, like he famously said, like, yeah, of course I share my bed with kids, and then kind of like backtracked in a later interview. But it's like if people nowadays, they don't know all these details, like heard about it, because I feel like my mum's generation, like let's say my mum and dad both have conflicting feelings about Michael Jackson. Like obviously he got found not guilty, but they also didn't agree with a lot of the stuff that he did or said in terms of this realm, and felt like he acted a bit weirdly. And I wonder if the kids are just left with these like, fun memories. Like I'm saying kids, like 20-year-olds or whatever, that are like, oh yeah, Michael Jackson's amazing. But then if they were to hear all these details, would they be like, wait, hold on, what? Like, you know what I mean? And so I'm interested to hear if it starts some conversations, if they even go into that. Or maybe, the movie being out, people will do some more research and stuff. But yeah, I mean, you can, like even if he's not guilty, it's still like, I wonder if there was some stuff that you would still disagree with if you knew what he was, doing or whatever. But at the same time, it's like, yeah, it was found not guilty. And not only was he found not guilty and acquitted, like the FBI went in and did a deep dive after he passed, I believe, and found no evidence of anything wrong or let's say no evidence of anything illegal. So yeah, I mean, this is one of those things of like, people will have different opinions on him. I mean, there's also I'm not going to go into that because that's a whole other podcast on the art, separating the art from the artist and all that type of stuff. But yeah, I'm interested to see how it is. It's supposed to come out, I think, April 2026. Yeah, April 24th to be exact. This is not an advert for the movie, but yeah, we will be probably reviewing it after we go. Maybe we'll do a capsule day out and go see it. By the way, guys, Inish is in the house. Inish is always in the house. Sophia's not. So shout out to Sophia. It's my fault that she's not here because we had to change the day of recording, but none of you guys at home need to know about this. So yeah, that's the Michael Jackson movie. I don't know if there's anything else, but that's kind of my initial thoughts on it. I don't know much. The trailer looks cool. It doesn't really give us much to work with. I don't want to do a whole trailer breakdown, but yeah. I will go and see it, probably in the cinema. It will be fun. I think it's out in IMAX, so it's going to be huge, like with the speakers and that size of screen. I think will be pretty cool. So yeah, that is that. BC1 also happened Sunday morning in the UK, Sunday evening in Tokyo, I believe. So I woke up at 8 a.m. and turned on my TV and was like half asleep trying to watch the fucking, you as well? Yeah, just like crust in my eyes trying to be like, oh yeah, let's go big girls. But it was really cool. I wish I was there, partially because I wish I went to Japan. But also it just looks fun. I do feel like I went to the only BC one I went to in real life was when it was in Paris. I want to say, oh God, when was that? Not recently. I want to say like 2013, don't know. And I really loved it. I feel like one of the things that I loved about BC1 is that it feels, and I mean, I when I was here, I spoke about Dance Your Style World Finals, and how I feel about it. And I kind of said a bit about the program and the feeling of it kind of being a bit like somewhat geared towards like influencer-y type of people. Not the whole thing, but, a good portion of it. And I think the thing with BC1 is like, I feel a bit like it's more geared toward, no, I'm talking so much shit. 2013, it definitely wasn't 2013, but I think like it feels a bit more like, I don't want to say real, but like it feels a bit more like for breakers, and like for people that love breaking, as opposed to like trying to appeal to like the outside audience. And I think it does appeal to the outside audience by appealing to the core audience. Does that make any sense, or am I talking in riddles? Like, I think when you capture a core audience and make a lot of noise for that core, like you need to go big with that core audience, but you make a lot of noise, and then because that's such a big hyped thing, outside people will look at it and go, oh, I want to see, like I do this with like skateboarding and stuff, or like other things which I don't know about, but I go to look for the biggest competitions and be like, well, if this is the thing, I'm going to tune in because this is going to be like the best example of skateboarding, you know. And it's like there's so many like breaking competitions throughout the years, you know, or like throughout the year, that like I could show my mum like Outbreak, I could show my mum like, I don't know, any of these other events, and yes, there would be amazing people, but BC One is kind of like, it's easy to say to my mum, like, this is one of the biggest competitions there are, sit down and watch this with us, I think you'll like it. Like, no matter who's going to be in the finals, they're going to be sick. Like, and like, you don't have to like be like, oh yeah, well, this person, like, yeah, this year there's not as many good people. Like, it's usually like BC One is always good people, right? And therefore it makes it like genuine. And then it's like you can show, because of the live stream, because of the accessibility of, due to the size of it, you can show other people it as like an example of like the top level of breaking. Where Dance Your Style is hard because it is a more like, it's more aimed at the crowd, but then at the same time, it's like there are entry points through that, you know, you can see Diablo, you can see these people, but it's like, it's hard to look at, you know, Dance Your Style itself and be like, oh, mum, come and watch this. This is like the best example of top styles that we have all year. You know, that it's like, oh, if you look at this top 16 and go look at their videos in other battles, you'll see amazing examples. But it, like, I think Dance Your Style is, it opens the floodgates so wide that you almost lose some of the authenticity, which is like, you know, I think partly that's done on purpose. But I think BC One, they keep it for the breaking scene, and that creates a different access point for people. They're both different. I don't necessarily disagree with either one, I don't think, but me, from in my perspective inside the scene, I like the BC One approach maybe a little bit more. Dance Your Style is fun and it's different and I enjoy that, but I like, in terms of like not being at them, but like wider scene wise, I'm like, I like the way BC One does things. Obviously people are going to be like, yeah, well, this is still not authentic because of this and this, and but whatever. It looked really cool from the, I obviously watched the live stream, I wasn't in Tokyo. It looked like they had like, all the seats were like, you know, you had to sit on the floor, like kind of with a pillow and stuff, which I thought was really cute. Like I saw even like Daniel from Stance was sitting with, you know, while he's filming, he's sitting with the pillow on the floor cross-legged, which is like, I love that kind of, they just do things differently to give you a different kind of vibe. I think the commentators were Ronnie and Kid David. I think they did a great job. I didn't personally hear any like bitching about the commentators this year. There have been in the past, but I thought they did a good job. I thought, you know, like, I think as long as you can still hear the music and you can like hear what they're hitting. I think sometimes when they like, this is the difficult thing in like popping or top stars, is because there's so many little intricate bits and people are trying to hit all of them. You really have to like focus and listen to like hear what they're sometimes hitting. And if there's someone talking over the top, it's kind of difficult. But with breaking, it's like, yes, they're hitting certain intricate, but not consistently. A lot of times breaking is like rhythm based, and I'm going to get onto that in a second, I think, but like it's like rhythm based with some emphasis on certain bits of the musicality, so you can kind of afford it lends itself well to having someone kind of talk, and I really enjoy it. Like, it adds context. I think, you know, sometimes it's like, because I think this is the good thing about a live stream, and like, you know, I don't think, yeah, people in the live stream chat are like, it's the same people that are just internet people, you know, sometimes that are just like, nah, that was shit, blah, 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 this music sucks. And it's like, shut the fuck up. Like, it's just people commenting and being rude and sassy and whatever, which is just in the internet in general. But I think one good thing is like, you know, we do that. And the whole point is you're not supposed to type those things because people are going to see, like, there's certain things where I would be watching and I'd be like, this person is dying this round. They look like they're struggling. I'm not going to put in the fucking comments, oh, this person looks like they're fucking struggling, like that, with that tone, because it's like, first of all, who is this for? It's just because you want to like say, and it's also like those people are going to read it. Like, and I'm not just talking about breakers because I'm in the scene. I'm talking about like, you know, and I don't want to go down a side tangent about internet comments because that's a whole other thing that I'm decided not to talk about this week. But like, I saw one thing that is like, Tom Hardy was no, not Tom Hardy. Who played Spider-Man? Tom Holland was self-conscious because he people were like posting pictures of him, like they're saying it looks like he's holding a frog in his mouth, which is quite funny because he always has like a kind of little like bulge in his mouth or whatever. And he said he got so self-conscious for like 2 years where he was like, every time he would like eat with like, you know, his hand in front of his mouth because in case the paparazzi like caught him. And I'm like, that's sad, man, that this kid, like, he didn't ask to be, well, I mean, maybe he asked to be famous, but it's like he didn't ask to be criticized like that. And it's like, just, I don't agree with this thing just because someone's like online or they're famous means that you can be rude to them. So I always was like, anytime, and I, you know, I have my close friends, and sorry if you're not on it, but like on my personal account, I mean, not on the capsule, but I post stuff about like celebrities or like dancers or stuff. And it's like, I always make sure to post on my close friends because I'm like, even if it's not harmful or I'm just making a joke, I don't want them to see that I'm making fun of their, and even if they put it out to the world, like I think there's a big difference between critique and making fun of someone. If I'm critiquing someone or I disagree with something they're doing, fair game. Like if I say something on the pod and you disagree and you write in the comments, no, I disagree because of this, which people do all the time, fair game. It doesn't mean you can also be rude or make fun of people or stuff like that, which I don't like that when people can't tell the difference. And it's just keyboard warrior shit. It's like you're behind a keyboard typing this shit. So all that to say, let me backtrack, is people are typing all this stuff. I see it in the live stream, I see it in the comments, whatever. It's the same always. One thing I think we do and I think is allowed is like, you do that when you're watching a football game that you're like, oh, this person's fucking shit. And it's like, of course, like fucking, you know, this Premier League footballer is not shit, but you're just saying it, right? And I think the good thing with the commentators, God, what a fucking side tangent I went on. The good thing with the commentators is you can like say, and I was doing this, you know, I was like, oh, that person's like, oh, I don't think they won this, right? Like being someone that doesn't know much or doesn't know as much as a experienced breaker about breaking, I could be like, yeah, it looks like they lost this round, and then I hear the commentator go, yeah, I don't know if that was enough to take it, and I'm like, oh, I know stuff. Or it's like, which happened to me, is like, also I'm like, wow, they've definitely lost, and then the commentators are like, yeah, I think it's gonna go this way, and I'm like, oh, it is? Okay, I don't know shit then. So I think that's what the commentators get. It's like you can almost have a little interaction with or like, you know, if somebody wins and you're like, they won? What the hell? Then the commentators go, oh, that was a surprise upset or a surprise decision. I'm like, oh, okay, cool. I'm not crazy. That was a bit weird even for me, you know? And I think it gives you some type of like deeper interaction with the event, which I think is really cool. And I think they did a good job of that. Like, you know, they said stuff that we were thinking. They kind of tried to shed light on things. One of the things was Amir. He chose Isin in the bracket reveal. Like, so they did a really cool thing which they started last year, which is like everyone that, like, let's say the wild cards and then the people who qualify from the last chance Cypher, they have like the bracket like empty on the wall, and one by one they like get pulled out of a hat, and then they can go place themselves where they want in the bracket. So obviously the first person, it's also like the order in which the battles happen, so it's like 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8, like that. So first of all, when people play, like if it's an empty bracket, the first 8 people to place pretty much get a chance to put themselves, do I want to go first, or I want to go last, or I want to go in the middle. But also, once you have at least one person on there, you can choose to like call them out. So if, you know, Nika put her name down and I'm like, I want to battle Nika first round, you put your name next to her or whatever, or you just put yourself as far away from her so that you can be on the opposite side of the bracket or whatever. So Amir chose Isin to go against, basically. And then when he came onto stage, first of all, holding his previous, because he won in not Brazil, where was it? I'll have a look. So Amir won, he's a previous BC1 winner, and he brought you get this big belt, and he brought this belt onto the stage. Sorry, I'm just looking if I can see when he won. He brought the belt onto the stage, which is already like a statement in itself, in a way. How you took that moment when you were watching is up to you. It could be like, I'm gonna smoke everyone because I'm the best. It could be like, I've already won, blah blah blah, whatever. So then Isin did great. He obviously won the whole thing. He's incredible. The way Amir was breaking, again, I'm not an expert on breaking, admittedly. I'm not an expert on anything. No one is. But I was like, I feel like he's not trying to win. Like, I did have these thoughts while I was watching. I was like, he's kind of, the way he's breaking is very relaxed and chilled. And like, sometimes like people break like that. And I'm like, oh, like, you know, like say for example, like Lee, so there's sometimes where I'm like, oh, did he do, like being someone that's not like so familiar with like judge it. Like I would never judge breaking battle, but like, oh, like, oh, he did a really short round. Like he didn't do enough. And then it's like, he wins by all 5 votes. And I'm like, oh, okay, cool. Then clearly what he did was enough. Like it's not about that. So with Amir, I was like watching, I was like, oh, maybe like, it looks like he's kind of chilling and not like, even in his energy and his focus, it didn't seem like he was going at Isin like that. But then I was like, oh, maybe this is where I'm misunderstanding. He's going to win. And then it's going to be like, yeah, that's just how Amir breaks, but blah, 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 whatever. So then it gets to the end. He walks out and puts his belt in the center of the stage, his previous one, and then he walks off stage before the judges decide, right? So, and then that's where I was like, this is where the commentators are good. Like, I'm looking at the script because it cut between different angles, and then I'm like, wait, did I miss him? Where is he? And then I couldn't see him, and then the commentators are like, oh, Amir's like left the stage, blah, blah. Okay, cool. And clearly it was like some type of statement. The way I, at the time, immediately took it was like, I was like, oh, he's saying, because, sorry, cut forward, he lost, right? So they vote for Isin in that round. And in my head, when I saw him, the judges vote against him and he had already left the stage, I was like, oh, okay, that everything kind of tracks, where I was like, it looked like he wasn't trying to win because maybe he wasn't. He lost, but it's like, I don't care about the decision because this isn't about winning, right? Like at first I was like, is he so confident he's going to smoke him that he just left and he's like, see you in the next round? Then I think I kind of put all the pieces together. And again, maybe I'm doing 2 + 2 and making 7, but I think he was like, I don't need to win, or even I don't want to win. I just want to go out there and put something on the floor and leave. Then I didn't find out about this till later, but apparently like before the competition had even ended, he uploaded this video to Insta with a link to the YouTube, which was like an 18-minute video of him talking with him breaking in black and white over the bag. You can go and watch it on YouTube. It's still up. Because he advertised it, I would say go and watch it. I'm not going to go into too much like content of the video because it's really deep, like traumatic stuff about his childhood that he experienced. And it's just him telling these stories about his childhood and with him breaking over the top. And it kind of obviously connects because it's like, it connects to like how he became who he is and also how breaking gave him this like escape. And that was the final piece of the puzzle for me to understand this whole Amir thing, where it's like, the video was like, it must have been pre-edited because he put it up very quick and it's like him talking. It's like somewhat, you know, it's nicely lit, black and white with this edit, and it's like got the captions in the middle. And so it kind of was planned in a way. So he knew from when he was going to be at BC1 that he was going to do this. He knew he was going to, I'm assuming, knew he was going to lose first round or was going to just not try in the first round. And he used that as an opportunity to like share this artistic thing. And for me, having watched the video in full, I really like this. I don't have anything negative to say about it. I don't know that people would, but I think, yeah, especially having watched the video, I don't know that people would be able to have something negative really to say about it. But it's like, I think, you know, there's a whole deeper conversation about competition versus art, right? And it's like, we've spoken about sport versus art to death, and so people are just in their camps. You know, people are like, it's an art form, it's not a competition. Some people are like, it's a competition and fucking it's not an art form, or not that it's not an art form, but we can still judge it objectively. Okay, cool. People are in their camps, fine. I think one thing I'd say is you don't have to win the competitions. How about that? You can do with competitions what you want. And I have said this probably so many times on the pod, but it's like the competitions are a platform. A lot of people use battles as a marketing tool, right? And you might, like I said this so many times, but it's like, I've never been in a fucking room, and I've been in a lot of rooms, and I've been in a lot of behind the scenes conversations. I've never been in one where people have been like, oh, should we invite this guest or this judge because they've won a lot? Maybe it happens, but I think more than that, they just say, is this person like making noise? Is this person like hot right now? Is this person like killing it? Like, you could say they've won loads of stuff, but it's more like, it's not like, oh, they've won, like if there was two people and it's like, oh, one's won 71 battles and one's won 75 battles, like that's not going to factor in. It's just if they're on a streak and you want to invite them. So I think, and even less for like jobs and stuff, like people don't care if MT Pop's won a lot. They just care that he's a charismatic, good, creative popper, and that's why they'll have him for their workshop or whatever, you know, whatever it is. So we are like, I think it's kind of obvious that like winning battles isn't the solution to being a successful dancer. It's weird because that's kind of how the scene is set up. We have all this competition, and I think coming in as a young person, you're like, well, obviously that's how you like do well in the scene, is by winning a lot of battles, because you see winners and then you see, and it's like, it's a bit confusing, but I think you kind of have to understand that it's like you can be a semi-finalist your entire life and be way more successful than the people that have won loads, because you're creative, you're different. People know you could be making double the money that these people that are winning. And there's some people that win loads of battles that are still working in cafes, and then there's some people that are top 16 dancers who live their life off that art, you know. It just depends on what you want out of it. If you're a competitor and you want to just go in there for winning, you don't want to leave your job and you're happy, like, fine, you know. We've had people on the pod, like Camille talks about that all the time. She doesn't want to be a full-time dancer. Great, like that's your choice. But if you want to be a full-time dancer, you don't have to. Like, there's a way to use competitions in the way that you want, you know. Obviously, you have to play the game to get to a certain, like, obviously Amir had to play the game enough to be, I think he was a wild card this year, but like to get on that stage. Well, once you're given that opportunity, Amir said, you know what, I don't want to compete. I'm going to do something different with it. And it's almost like a performance art piece in a way. Like, he used it to do an art piece, which I think was really cool in a way. It's like, it was like, you know, he was going to go on the stage and draw attention to the thing that he actually wanted people to see, which was this video and the message behind it. And I think this is like, we spoke about it before, you know, because he shared something on Instagram after the Olympics, and it's like, I kind of rate someone being good in the competitive sphere and then using it to be an artist. And it's like, I wish more people would do that. Like, I think there are a lot of people that do. You know, they enter popping battles and they're not going to win, but they have such a distinct, different style that, wow, it's like, oh, we all want to watch them with any styles, you know. And aside from the style that you have, like the way you enter these things, I think says more. Like, you know, there was that guy in India last year, T-Ray, I don't know how to say, but he, like, they were going to go an extra round against MT Pop, I think, but the whole crowd was going crazy for MT Pop. So he took the mic and said, you know what, like, no, like, he won this before even they could make the decision to go one more round. And it's like, that for me says more about you as a dancer than any rounds that you could do, you know. So these type of choices, I think, are really important. And I wish more people did that, you know, like, yeah, like, used it to be artists. Obviously, if that's not who you are and you're a competitor, do your thing. But if you are an artist, you don't have to fit in and play this game. I think that's what's important. You know, people think like, oh, if I'm going to do a popping battle, I have to do this, or if I'm going to do a house battle, I have to do these things, and that's not really the way I dance, and I'm not going to win. It's like, all right, then don't win. Go in and make a statement by being you, even if that's in the fucking prelims and you don't get through. Like, if that's the area that you want to inject something into. If you don't care about the battle scene and I'm a theatre head or whatever, go do it over there. Fine, all good. But if you want to inject some art into the battle scene, fucking do it, and accept that you're not going to win, but don't like stress about it. Do you know what I mean? And also, one thing I would say is, like, I've said this to people before, but like, there are a bunch of people watching the battle scene who feel whatever you feel the same as you. So if you feel like, oh, there's not enough bounce in hip hop, oh, there's not enough creativity in popping, oh, there's not enough, you know, artistic breakers, or whatever you might feel, there are people that feel like that in the world, that are looking at these breaking competitions feeling the same as you and being put off the same as you are and not wanting to go. But by doing it, even if you lose, like, let's say what Amir did, even if he lost, by being like, you know, I talk about Sons of Wind, about like, they've made huge changes in the scene, but a lot of them entered battles and lost because they don't dance in such a big, they don't have all these athletic moves. When they first came, like they didn't win every single battle immediately. Like they lost some. But by being there and being present, like if we take Sons of Wind as an example, they inspired a whole group or a whole section of the scene who danced like how they dance to enter battles again. And therefore they've changed the scene by being them. And that's not by winning. It's like they were probably looking at the scene going, right, a lot of people are doing this athletic. And I think Sons of Wind and the movement that has followed them is a reaction to the way the scene was. It was very athletic, very beat killy, blah, 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 which still exists. But now there's also this option, which is to dance like them. Some people go too far and just copy their style, but that's a whole other conversation. But by just entering, you start to see that and you go, oh, well, if they can do it, maybe I will go. Maybe there is a lane for me in the battle scene. This goes for the same of like, you know, if you're like, the battle scene is very male dominated, so as a woman, I'm not going to enter. It's like you need to enter so that other women can see that it's okay to be a woman and enter. Even if you lose, more people will come. And it's the same with anything, you know, it's like I talked before about the UK scene being like quite a young generation thing. If I don't enter battles because I'm 36 and the UK scene is very young and I'm going to lose, all the other people who are 36 also won't enter, and then the scene will continue to be young. And if I think it's important that we have an age range, which I do, as much as I can, I'm going to enter. I enter for other reasons besides that, but that is one of the things of why I enter battles. Because it's like, and I think these representation of like the people that do enter that are older, you know, or younger, like if you're like 12 and you enter battles, it's like, yeah, do that, or, you know, or be Amir, or be a woman in the battle scene, or whatever it is, so that you can, not only for you, but like the thing that you're not liking about the battle scene, so is everyone else. And if one of you doesn't enter, you're all not going to know that each other exists. I hope that makes sense. But so yeah, I think what Amir did, do it. There's other artists that will follow and do artistic things, you know, right? And reminds me a little bit, not as, it's not deep, but like when the guy who entered Just Taboo Experimental, I don't know who still remembers this, but like, I don't remember what year, but he went on stage and like, he wore a t-shirt that said, Je suis just debout, which is like, I am just standing, right? And just debout means just standing. So, or yeah, like just upright or whatever. But, so he just, his whole experiment around, he just stood still for like a minute and just stared. And it was like, everyone was like, I am just, and then he literally was like, I am just debut, as in I am the competition, but also I am just standing. And it was like a little artistic like play on the thing and what you could do with a round. Like everyone feels the pressure to dance and, oh, I've got to do this. What dance shall I do? And he was like, I'm going to make a statement and do something with it. And like everyone loved it. And I don't know if he won, but like, yeah, people liked that expression. So it's like you can do things out of the box with competition. And a lot of times there are a lot of people that will be thankful for that. So yeah, keep it up. Yeah, I think what we can do also is let's have a look at this battle from the Last Chance Cypher. So we have a guy called Hijack from the USA and a guy called Haruto. Now, Haruto got to the finals against Isin, but this battle was really cool in the Last Chance Cypher. So I thought we would have a look at it. Hopefully the volume is up. Yeah. I like the Last Chance Cypher, I have to say. Like, I think in structure, it's a bit difficult because a lot of the people that won in their country won't make it to the final stage. Same with Dance Your Style. But I do like this having a smaller vibe. You know, a smaller vibe before the main thing. The only thing is, like, if you win, this is what Roxy was saying, is that if you win, you've done a big competition 2 days, but like, they give you a day in between to rest, but still. Oof. Yeah, you've done a big competition. This guy's really cool. I mean, I kind of like the outfit. But he's like, it looks really like unique. And also like prioritizing the music, which is really sometimes doesn't happen. And it's difficult in breaking to do that. I think the thing also I like about this battle is like they're both creative and like stylish. I don't know if that's the right word, but like this is enjoyable to watch even if you're not into breaking, I think. Ooh, I love shit like that. He's like, take a picture of me. I look so good. Oh. The fuck? I love the moves that you're like, I don't know where this is going. Jesus. Oof. Like I said, I'm not a breaking judge, but I'm like, he definitely won that second round. If not, well, I mean, he won the battle, but like that second round, for me, I'm like, that's very clearly he won. Shout out Amir. Break Circle. Go watch it. Yeah, all three judges. You know what I think the thing about breaking is like, I don't know if breakers realize this, or maybe they do, but it's like sometimes the stuff that we like to see from them is not always the things that makes breaking like hard or good or whatever. It's like, especially I'm talking like outside of the breaking scene and outside of the judges, like just a casual watcher. It's like, obviously it's the music and like those moments where they stick the freeze or whatever on a certain beat, but it's also like it's like the transitions. It's like those moves that like, it might be simple or whatever, but it's like, I didn't know where it was going. I think Lorenzo spoke about that and he did great with this, and he's that type of breaker where it's like, he said it in a way of like, yeah, I want to do moves that make people go, what the fuck? And it's like, yeah, I love breakers like that. And I think a lot of people do, where it's like, yeah, like you understand that like a flare is hard or an air flare is hard, but when you see a whole event full of them, you're like, okay, cool. Like you almost like are desensitized to it, you know, like as someone that's never tried it, you're like, in theory, I get that that's hard, but okay, cool. Like everyone in the top 16's done one. So is it that hard? Like obviously we're watching the top level. So, but it's just when you see stuff that's like creative or different, or you think it's going to be one thing and then they end up in a different position, or they do some sort of slide that seemingly comes out of nowhere and you don't know how they transferred their weight. That's the stuff that makes outside that when we don't understand, which is a large percentage of the audience, we're like, oh shit, like that's really cool. So I think that's really interesting. I think the other thing is like, I think with breaking and dance in general, but definitely breaking, I think phrasing is a underrated way to approach the music, and I think especially in top styles it's underrated, but like the sense of like, you want to make your dance work on 8s and 16s. Why? Because music, a lot of Western music is built on 8s and 16s, right? It's like 4/4 timing. Like it's not like the waltz is a completely different timing and it works differently, the music for the waltz, I mean, but like with Western, like especially hip hop, street styles, anything like that, that music is built on like 8s and 16s. So if you listen to a song often the music will change. And what I mean by changing is like they'll add a layer, take away a layer, the singing will start. There'll be like the beat will drop out for a second and then come back in. And that will often happen on the 8 or the 16, right? Sometimes there's like a random thing in the middle, but like that's a different thing. You know what I mean? Like sometimes they'll just put a random stop or a random sound effect in a song. But a lot of times it's, the 4, the 8, the 16, it's on these kind of things. Obviously for people that know this is like kind of easy music theory for dancers, but a lot of people don't know this. And when you have top styles, for example, popping, hip hop, house, blah 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 blah, like your dance should also build with the song. Not like it shouldn't be copying the song, but like, if you're going to start, let's say in popping, you're going to start your first section with just basic hits, and then you're going to start making things more complex and layer your dance and add stuff on top and keep those hits, but then also do this and like, however you want to approach the dance. But if you're going to change, like the good way to do it a lot of times in terms of layering and stuff is to do it on the 8s and on the 16s, because what will happen is, and I spoke about this, like there was a house dancer that did this ages ago, and he did it in a beautiful way of like, he kept his dance on the spot, and then as on the next 16 he started traveling, and on the next 16 he went to the floor, and it like almost felt like the song was like the theme song to his round, because it was like, oh, then the hi-hats came in and he started moving, and that created a feeling of movement, and then when the bass came in he went to the floor. Obviously it's quite coincidental, or maybe it wasn't, maybe he planned it exactly like that, but it's just like you can kind of read into these things because he used the phrasing really well and he used the like build of the track. I think that's already an underrated thing in top styles, where people don't do that as much. It's like they'll be doing something and then they'll either like do a move that like finishes on a 3, and it's like it feels unsatisfying somehow, or they'll like go to the floor on a 7 and it's like okay, it feels a bit weird. Or they'll like they'll change their dance and they'll build layers or whatever, but they're doing it on random counts and they don't quite know. I've been in workshops that I've taught where I've done stuff like this, and people who are like experienced dancers, I say like Inish was there for one of these things, whereas like we talk about like, okay, where is the 1 on the track, and people get it wrong because of like something throw them off or whatever, but it's like understanding where the track loops and what the 1 is I guess more of a like difficult thing. But it's a really important skill, because if you can match it with that, you can hit beats or you can hit moments in the track that you didn't see was coming. That you didn't think were going to come. Now, that's difficult for top stylists sometimes, right? And good ones. With breakers, the reason it's even harder, and now moving on to Isin's round when he battled Amir, there's a round on Stance, maybe we can watch it actually. There's a round on Stance's Instagram it's got like 6 million views already, of Isin when he battled Amir. It's like the initial, I think the reason it went viral for me is like the initial beginning of the round. That entrance is a great hook to a social media clip. So as he comes in, he does this crazy like set, I guess. Here, I'll play it. So he does this. And if you count that, it goes. So like he starts that last move on the 8, right? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So obviously it goes along through the 1, but he starts it on the 8. And obviously the DJ like also does something on the 8, and he's doing that based on the music as well. So it just happens that it coincides. But the reason that move has so much impact is because of where it's timed on the music. Now, if you watch that set, I don't know how much of that did he like the move itself he had to have had a prep into, but I don't know how much of this from the beginning, from when he's standing up all the way until that, he has to be like that. I don't know if he can freestyle the first 4 counts and then the second 4 counts he because that's basically like an 8 count section that he does into that big finisher move. But the reason that that went so crazy because it's timed beautifully. It's on the 8. It's 5, 6, 7, bang. And in order to do that as a breaker, you can't just go into like any of these type of moves, whether it's fucking flares, head spins. If you've ever watched a b-boy train or practice, or a b-girl, they can't just jump into power, right? You have to have a prep, and that prep is usually 2 to 4 counts minimum to get into it, right? It's like, at best, if it's a flare, it's like step, 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 flare. Is like, obviously they can do it from a certain position, but a lot of them have this muscle memory trained. And in order to like not only nail the move on the 8, but also nail the position that you're facing, where you need to be to get enough momentum, and how much you need to have traveled to get from where you are to the center of the stage, you're planning this. So like, he would have had to plan from the 1, where like, if he doesn't hit the first move on the 1, it means he ain't hitting the last one on the 8, right? So this whole thing is like planned previously. Now, you could say this is slightly easier because it's an intro, but some people do this mid-round. So it means from wherever they are, they have to finish the previous like bunch of moves to start this new prep, which leads up to hitting the freeze at the right time. And it's like, this is all, not only is it like phrasing in the sense of like building the sets and the moves on where the track will change, or where the DJ will do something, or where something will happen in the track, whether it's an emphasis point, whether it's the music cuts out, or whether the rapper says something on that specific sound or whatever. But it's also like, physically, you have to be able to like, if that song is double the speed or whatever, he's got to do that exact same thing double fast in order to get there to hit that on the 8. There's no like, you can't then hit it on a 3 just because you moved slower. And it's like, if you watch it, all of the stuff before is on beat. So he's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, boom, big move. And he's not just flowing into the big move. The whole thing is on beat up until that move. So this is the type of thing that it's like, and I was doing this with some of the breakers because I was like, they feel not offbeat in the sense of like, oh, they're not on the regular tempo of the beat, but like the phrasing was off. So like I feel like they're finishing on 3s or 7s, and I'm counting in my head. I literally counted out loud while I was watching BC1. I'm like 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he's standing up and finishes round. Yeah, he finished on a 6. And some people will do this thing where like they'll like stand up and then they'll just like cross their legs, do a little spin, and then finish. And then that is basically phrasing. It's because like they stood up on a 6 and they went 6, 7, 8. And it's like, okay, cool, just to finish the phrase out and make it feel like a complete round, they'll do that. Some people won't, and they'll just finish on a random time. Now, it's an artistic tool, let's say. It's not a rule. Like, I don't know how breaking judges would approach this. Like, I don't know if they go, right, based on the kind of, you know, you're finishing on 3s and 7s and changing hitting your freezes or whatever on 3s and 7s or whatever it might be. Do you get marked down for that? I don't know. Leave your thoughts in the comments. But I think people often, it's more of like an artistic tool of like how you can make your dance feel more well-rounded or make it have the biggest impact, which then I guess goes into the decisions or whatever. But yeah, I mean, Ishin is incredible. He battled that guy, the guy that we just watched, Haruto, he battled him in the finals. Crazy. I think they're in the same crew, Body Carnival. There was one crazy moment that made me react where Ishin does something where he like jumps forward and Haruto jumped at the same time, and there was the way they had it on the live stream was like beautifully cut, where it was like front of the stage, so you saw them like, I actually thought they were going to headbutt each other until I realized the depth thing, but like they jumped across each other because Haruto did that at the same time as Ishin. I think there's a question in there of like, okay, as a battle tactic, if I know your moves because we've battled or I've seen you in the scene, I think it's fair game to do stuff like that. Because why he was doing that, for those that don't know, is to like suck the impact out of what he was about to do. And it's like also to show that like, yeah, it's predictable, it's obvious, like, and it's like takes away the impact and takes a bit of the shine. Because now I'm equally impressed with Haruto as I am with Ishin. So it's like, I don't know that I would do that to a crew member. Maybe it's different because I haven't been in the finals of BC1 and that's a big thing. But it's also like the reason you know his moves and stuff is because you train with him. So I'm just like, I don't know how, like, maybe if someone did that to me that was in my crew and trained with me behind closed doors, I'd be like, oh, bro, that's a bit unfair. Like, you know my stuff because you train with me 24/7. And even if I do it publicly, it's like, yeah, you still know me behind closed doors. So you're using the fact that you know all my stuff to take away the impact, which I think is like, I don't know, I personally wouldn't do it. I'd be like, yeah, let him have his moment or whatever, or not like, yeah, predict the moves because you know them. If it's something that they do, I mean, maybe that's it. Like maybe Hiruto's like, yeah, Isin does that publicly so much that it's like, it's a nod to the audience as much as it is to Isin. I don't know. Again, let me know your thoughts in the comments. I think for me, my three, we're not going to do a reaction to it, but like because we always do like one to watches, people that I think you should go check out from my perspective. My three would be Haruto, who we just had a look at. I think go check him out. I mean, he was in the final, so he's not like a hidden gem. But yeah, go check out Haruto. I think check out Jibril. He was in fucking incredible. He's young. He needs work, I think, till he's like winning BC1. But he really left an impact, did some crazy shit, battled hard. Like he was a fucking pleasure to watch. So go check Jibril out. And also Lorenzo, friend of the show. We love the Ruggeds. He's been on the stage. I just think for me, he's just fresh as shit. Does moves that are like really interesting to watch, and he's just fun and a cool guy. And I love that there was like, I love the Ruggeds. I mean, Grimson I've spoke about before, who's like one of my favorite b-boys, so definitely go check him out. But for this specific competition, I think go check out Lorenzo. I think he did really well, and again, he's young, he's got so much time, he's going to be up and up from here. So yeah, shout out to him, all three of them, to be fair. I think that's the main topics for today. What I will say is UK news wise, there was a shout out to Jordan, Lewis and Harry, who ran Northbound for the first time in Manchester. It's a new battle event that they are running together. I was supposed to be there, but the entire motorway was shut down and it stressed me out so much. And it was going to take me 6 hours to complete my journey to Manchester or something. So I turned around and had to go home. But it looked sick. I'm sad I missed it. Yeah, if you're Manchester based, check that out. I love things being built outside of London. I think the temptation is to like come to London for everything. But, you know, we used to, when I first started, there was so many little battles in all the little towns. And we used to travel around it was so part of the journey to like, you know, get a coach to this place or get a train to this place and go stay over at someone's house. And I think like the more stuff you have in different towns, the more we spread the scene. And you know, there's great dancers up in Manchester, so I think, yeah, more events up there, more events in Birmingham and Sheffield and all these different places would be great. And also on that note, shout out to Kenzie. Square Go battle happened in Scotland, as well as Dime Stop's anniversary and their popping battle. So again, it's like build stuff in the place where you're from. I think that's really dope. So check out all three of those. Check out Dime Stop. Also, some of my favorite poppers. I love those guys. Very like, I think like strutting influenced, but like really sick, very unique. I love a unique dancer. We know this. They don't fit the mold. Obviously, Motherfunker's been on the pod loads, but yeah, shout out to Dime Stop, check out their event, check out Square Go Battle, check out Northbound in Manchester. Also, the UPG battle is coming up on the 28th, 2v2 All Styles at the Red Bull, actually downstairs where we are now. They did a really sick promo with Joe Monkey Flip Media, friend of mine, friend of the show. I just wanted to shout them up because fucking thank you for doing a good promo. I hate when people like, in this day and age in 2025, like I have and could teach classes on this as like a marketing thing, but like you can't just post a Canva flyer online and then get pissed when it gets 13 likes and then nobody comes to the event. Like that's just saying I have an event is not enough anymore, because there's so many events and we're so busy. There's so many, not only like in our normal life, there's so many things going on, but like online, I'm looking at so many things, so that if you don't catch my attention, I'm not going to go out of my way to look at your event, unless you, or like, you know, if Beyond Doubt or Just Taboo could probably post a flyer and I'd be like, oh, let me check this out, because they have so much capital of like, we already know about them. If you're anything less than one of the biggest competitions in the world, you have to compete for your attention. And I think people do these promos where it's like, oh yeah, 1v1 hip hop, and it's just like the most ugly fucking flyer with like, you have to zoom in to even read the shit, and it's all like, people do terrible marketing and then wonder why not only does the post not get shared or liked, nobody comes to the fucking event or whatever, or nobody signs up. And I think this is a free tip for everyone. It's like, the way you can make advertising content work is the content itself has to be entertaining. Regardless, like, I can't make UPG's event because I'm in Sweden, right? And I still watched the entire... I knew it was about UPG's event the minute I saw the first thing, but I still watched the entire thing. And I shared it with friends because it's a cool video. And I'm talking about it now because it's a cool video. And it's almost like the Mary Poppins, like a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. It's like the medicine is the information. Information by itself is a lot of the times boring. So give me a spoonful of sugar, make it entertaining. I'll watch it because I enjoyed the video. And then I'll also learn something. And it's like, let's say on this podcast, like, if I said all the things that I felt in a boring way, and people might think some of this is boring, but you might not be podcast listeners. But it's like, if I was like, and then breakers need to do this, and then it was really good, and then it's like, I'm sharing the same sentiments, but I'm not entertaining you with them. And that's kind of what, when we say outlandish things or cause controversy, it's because we're an entertainment platform first. We're not the fucking news, and the point is to entertain people. And similarly, when you're sharing an event online, yes, you want to convey information, but that is not your primary focus. It's to draw people in, it's entertainment, and then it's to give them information once they're in. And this is what that video did beautifully. Go and check it out on UPG's Instagram. Shot and edited by the one and only Monkey Flip. I think directed by him as well. And it's like, it's them talking, which I think we need more of in the dance scene. It's interesting, nice angles, good transitions. It keeps you hooked. And I just think if you want to understand how to market an event, do stuff like that. Yes, Joe is a fantastic filmer and editor. UPG are incredible dancers. They're incredibly creative people. They have great personalities. However, you can do that entire thing on a phone. It won't be as good as what they're doing, but it will be better than a Canva flyer, right? So nowadays you have ChatGPT, you have YouTube. You can learn so many things about editing without having to be an editor. Get the Edits app, get CapCut, put together a little promo of you saying stuff, cutting to different locations, blah, blah, blah. If the audio's good and it's like somewhat well filmed, as in it's not shitty quality, we'll enjoy it. And I guarantee you'll see an uptick in your engagement with that. So super cool. Love that. Thank you for doing that. Keep it up. More of that, please. And in the last thing of UK news, we did our first trial event of the Open Runs concept. And what that basically was we basically did a 10 to smoke, and it was like no audience were invited, and it was only just 10 dancers, dancers that are, people that, because it was a trial event, it's like I invited people that have had contact with us before and have helped us with stuff, and I asked them as a favor, can you come and help me trial something? So the dancers did me a great favor. We had a crazy good lineup. Basically the concept was each of the dancers, there was 10 dancers, they did a 10 to smoke essentially, and the 3 dancers in the middle of you have the 2 dancers here, then you have 8 dancers waiting. The 3 in the middle were the judges, and as the line rotated, so did the judges. So everybody voted. Everybody had 3 chances in a row to vote as the line progressed, basically, and then they got on. Winner stays on. Rory won 20 battles in an hour and a half, which was absolutely wild. There was a few like tiebreakers in there and stuff. It was just a really fun event. There was no audience besides the dancers and me filming and someone helping. And you can watch the video on YouTube if you want to check it out. But yeah, it was really cool. I think like what I want to do is like build it as a concept and like figure out, because I think with the rise of these huge events, big like Beyond Doubt, Dancer Style, all these big ones, I think there's a niche for like smaller stuff. And I think the more that goes that way, we can also expand smaller and more exclusive. And so I just want to try and build this like really exclusive thing. And I think the concept's really fun. It's cool. Yeah, I think I didn't say this, but like the dancers all brought £10 each. And they like that would have been their entry fee, and they put in the money, and then the winner took the £100 basically, which is really cool. And And yeah, we just need to find a way to make it, to give it legs and give it longevity, because that, like, I paid everything. Like, the dancers paid for their prize money, of course, but like the rest, like I paid for the studio and all that type of stuff, and I went and filmed myself and stuff. So we need to find a way to make it like we can charge entry for a certain amount of people, or I don't know. If you have ideas, hit me up, let me know. But yeah, it was a really fun concept, and I'm going to do more of them, so you shall see more. I want to do them because the beauty is with the dancers judging themselves is like, I don't need to like, we can do whacking, and it's like, as long as the whackers invited are good, they can judge themselves. And we just need, also Sophia DJ'd, it was her first time DJing hip hop, she did great. Shout out to Sophia. And yeah, that's basically it, guys. Thanks so much for tuning in. I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope you have had a wonderful week. Also, one last thing I will say, I've made a decision, and this doesn't need to be for the people watching the podcast, because if you're watching the podcast, you would not be the people I'm talking about. However, people that like comment shit on Instagram or on YouTube or whatever and write, I'm not talking about disagreements or thoughts or opinions on publicly posted shit. That is fair game, and I will never stop anyone from sharing their opinions. However, people that are, I'm talking about, like whether it's BC1, whether it's our Instagram, whether it's our podcast, whatever, and people are commenting like rude stuff, and they're commenting with a tone that you would never speak to someone in real life. I have opinions on that, which I'm going to deal with outside of this podcast and outside of talking about it publicly. But one thing I've decided, and I invite people who are listening to do the same as what I'm doing, is every time these people make me angry and I see people posting or sharing stuff with like an attitude or saying things that are like is rude and unnecessary or taking digs, or, you know, these things really irritate me. And rather than trying to, because the temptation is to lash out at them and to try and argue with them. Now, you'll never win those conversations on the internet. It's just not possible. Because people will just drag it out and they'll just keep, you know, there's no winning a comment war back and forth with people, especially like YouTube comments are like probably the worst, but Instagram ain't that far off. What I've decided I'm going to do is every time that people piss me off by sharing rude things or certain things, I am going to, for the following days, go out of my way to share positive things with that I already think. I'm not going to make fake stuff up, but if I feel like, it happens all the time that I'm like, Stance are doing such a great job with filming. Like, I'm glad that they filmed this thing. Oh, I'm glad that BC1 did this. Oh, there's this dancer that I really like, or I think they're a good person, but I've just never told them. I'm going to go out of my way to say those positive things to those people, because it's made a difference for me. You know, like we had someone share something yesterday from Nepal who was like, oh, the capsule is in one of my, like in the top 10 of platforms that have helped me grow as a dancer. I would have never known that if that person didn't share that. I've had people write me to be like, oh, you know, this thing that we did that one time, you know, made me feel so good, or it changed my dance or something like that. And I'm like, I would have never known. And you could have just gone, oh, Luke doesn't need to know that. But you went out of your way to tell me. And sometimes that saves my week when I'm in a really bad place, or it balances out people being dickheads, like whether it's publicly or behind the scenes that you don't see. Sometimes those little comments of positivity, not fake ones, but like real things that you actually think, like just voicing them, can really make a big difference to people. So I'm going to go out of my way to, every time someone says something negative, I'm going to be like, right, you've pissed me off. I hate this negativity thing. I'm going to go in, like, what have I been holding in? Like, oh, this person looks really nice today. They might not want me to say, but I'm going to be like, hey, by the way, I like this top that you're wearing. I don't know. Or like this person, I've noticed that they're doing a really good job with their class. It's like, oh, by the way, I don't know anything about your class, but it looks like you're killing it. You know, congrats, or whatever it might be. So I just invite everyone to try and do that. Let's put some positivity in the world, because it's like trying to fight fire with fire in a way of like, if people are negative and you shoot back at them by also being negative, and you just like cuss them out and call them arseholes for them saying something rude, it's like now you've just doubled the negativity in that comment section. Whereas if you then just take that and go, all right, I'm going to ignore you, but I'm going to go over here and comment on someone's thing and be like, oh, these pictures that you posted are super nice, even if I never comment on your shit. So if you see me popping up with some nice comments, you know someone's pissed me off. But yeah, that is all I have to say on that, and on BC1 and Michael Jackson Biopic. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode, please leave a comment, please subscribe, please check out the capsule on Instagram, on TikTok, on YouTube. We are going to be ramping up for 2026. We are gonna it was like that, those memes of like DJs about big things coming. There might be big things coming, but I just mean we are gonna be stepping it up a gear in terms of the behind the scenes work that we're doing. So yeah, looking forward to that, looking forward to building and pushing with the team, looking forward to bringing you guys more amazing content in 2026 and beyond. So peace guys, have a good week, see you later.